The first pro and absolutely one of the best parts about living in Peachtree City is the golf cart paths. The entire city has these golf cart paths going in and out of the different neighborhoods and the shopping areas. People take their golf carts from their home to the restaurant. And so this is absolutely one of the biggest draws for many people who live in Peachtree City. It is kind of weird at first when you see this and like people are taking their golf carts to the grocery store and like they're not getting in their vehicle. So it is kind of weird, but I have to say, as someone who used to live in Peachtree City for a little while, I absolutely loved it. It was definitely one of the highlights. And so this is really something that's very unique. You don't see this in really any other suburb of Metro Atlanta. And so it's great to have these golf cart paths all around the city. What's up, y'all? My name is Victor with Atlanta Suburban Living, and we put out videos every week about what it's like to live in Atlanta and the surrounding suburbs. The next pro about living in Peachtree City is the school ratings. According to the school rating website greatschools.org, Peachtree City has some of the best schools in all of Metro Atlanta. This is a big reason why so many people move to Peachtree City. Unfortunately, these school rating websites, they don't really rate the schools on the south side of Metro Atlanta as well as the north side. And so it's kind of difficult to find an area on the south side that has excellent school ratings. There's really only a few on the south side, and Peachtree City is one of those cities. With an average public school rating of like an 8 or a 9 out of 10, it's absolutely a great deal, especially considering what part of Metro Atlanta Peachtree City is in. The city is actually in Fayette County, which also has cities like Fayetteville or Tyrone, and it's very close to the airport. Because the Atlanta airport is on the south side of the Metro Atlanta area, cities like Peachtree City and Fayetteville and a lot of these southern suburbs are much closer to the Atlanta airport than the northern suburbs. So we have cities like Marietta or Alpharetta or Swanee are very far from the airport. And so if you're going to be in and out and using the airport a lot, then you have to really think about that commute. It's far easier to get to the airport if you're living on the south side than if you're living on the north side. Another big benefit of living here is the community feel. If you're thinking about buying a home in Peachtree City, feel free to call, text, or email me anytime. Even if you just have any questions about what it's like to live here, thank you so much to everybody who has reached out. I'm always happy to help. But the community feel in Peachtree City is absolutely great. I think it's kind of that like golf cart community, and like it's a great city, so everybody there loves their city. They have a lot of pride for their city, so they like to get to know their neighbors. This is absolutely a great part about living in Peachtree City. They always have some kind of community events going on there, 4th of July or New Year's Eve or whatever it is. You know, they love having those kinds of events in Peachtree City. And so this really adds to that community feel in the city. Another pro of living here is the easy access to the interstate. Because it's so close to Interstate 85, it really allows you to get to the main parts of Metro Atlanta, to the center of Metro Atlanta, and even access Interstate 285 because it's such a short commute from Peachtree City to Interstate 85. And so if you are living in Peachtree City and working in Atlanta, that commute is a little shorter because you don't have to go such a long way to get to the main roads, which is Interstate 85. And then another benefit is the amount of trees and green space here in Peachtree City. I know we say that Metro Atlanta has a lot of trees, but you don't know how much green space there is until you get to the south side of Metro Atlanta. There is pine trees everywhere. Like it's just completely wooded areas, and these neighborhoods and these commercial areas are just essentially, they clear out the woods, you know, they clear out the pine trees, and then they put these shopping centers in these neighborhoods right there in the middle of the woods. And so the rest of it is just a blanket of pine trees and a blanket of green space. It is absolutely amazing. I think we have some drone footage actually of just how much green space and trees surround the construction and the development here in Peachtree City, and it's astounding to see just how much green space there is here. So definitely a lot of benefits for living in Peachtree City, but there's also some cons about living here that you definitely need to know about if you are thinking about buying a home here in Peachtree City. And one of those downsides or cons, it happens to be those trees. While it is nice and it is very peaceful to have those trees in that green space, also all of that vegetation and all of those trees give a lot of allergy problems for like people who have allergy problems like myself. The biggest problem with allergies is the amount of pollen that we have here in Georgia, and it's the pine trees that put off all of that pollen. So during the early spring, when the pine trees germinate or whatever it is that pine trees do, all of that pollen goes everywhere. I mean, it covers the road, it covers the sidewalks, the cars, everything. And so this is a big problem for people with allergies. And then also, if you have pine trees close to your home, this can be kind of problematic as well, because pine trees have a short lifespan and they grow very tall. They tend to fall over easily. And so if you have pine trees, less than 100 feet from the house, then those pine trees really need to be either maintained, watched very carefully, or probably just taken down, because they can be problematic for a house, especially if the tree falls on the house. And then another downside of living here is the cost of living. It is a bit higher, especially considering the cost of living in the other suburbs of the south part of Metro Atlanta. The average house price in Peachtree City is significantly higher than some of the other suburbs. Right now, in the last 90 days, the average house price in Peachtree City is $600,000. And so this is a big difference, especially when you consider neighboring Fayetteville, where the average home price is like $450,000. And so really big difference. Same county, very similar amenities, very similar feel. They're literally right next to each other, Peachtree City and Fayetteville, but the difference in the home price is about $150,000 average. So that can be kind of a deterrent if you're looking to get the most amount of home for your money. Another downside of living in Peachtree City is the amount of traffic that there is here. So there is not really a whole lot of roads. We do have Interstate 85 to get to Atlanta, and we have an easy way to get to Interstate 85 from Peachtree City, but there are not a lot of routes to get there. And so everybody is using the same roads to get to Metro Atlanta or to get to the center of Atlanta from Peachtree City. One of the main roads that you would use to get to the interstate is Highway 74. And there's really just like this one route to get to Interstate 85. And so there tends to be a lot of congestion on Highway 74. And then there's also a lot of congestion on Interstate 85 getting to the middle of Atlanta. And so this can definitely be problematic if you're living in Peachtree City and working in Atlanta. Another con of living here is that everything is like really spread out here in Peachtree City. It's certainly not walkable. There is no public transportation. You absolutely would be car dependent if you lived in Peachtree City, or golf cart dependent. But everything is really spread out. Like you should expect 10, 15 minutes maybe to get to a grocery store from your home, maybe 10 minutes to get to a school. There's not really a whole lot of like 5-minute commutes, to just like pop into the grocery store or go over to like run errands. Things are kind of spread out here on the south side and in Peachtree City. And so this can kind of be time consuming if you are driving around for a lot of different things. No question that Peachtree City is one of the most popular suburbs in all of Metro Atlanta. In fact, if you want a whole list on my top 5 favorite suburbs of Metro Atlanta, you can check it out right here. I'll see you in the next video.